So you want to use kind of like a medium color and also the darker color, and then of course the darkest, which is black. You want to build on that, so then you're creating that nice soft smoke, that nice sultry like look. I'm gonna use the NC50. Again, this is the Studio Fix powder in NC50. I'm gonna use this as kind of like drawing out where I want to do the eye makeup. So I'm thinking of like, this is the outside part of the smoke area, and then in the middle part it's gonna be the darker shade, which is gonna be the contour, and then the middle part is where I'll smoke out the black. So it's gonna be this nice ombre effect. Yeah, it's really fun to do. So I'm gonna build on these different shades. So I'm gonna use a MAC powder. I have used this for my contour concealer, sorry, when I used to have a beard, and now I don't have a beard, not too much. I don't need to contour or conceal it, which is amazing. So now I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna create kind of like, we're going for a dramatic look. So I'm gonna start soft and I'm gonna build on that. I do like to do the windshield wiper motion, but you gotta also make sure that the amount of product you're using is not too much. So just little at a time. Make sure that you do have enough time to do this makeup, because, you know, I mean, if you are on your way to a gig, I mean, yes, there are times where you just have to like put on the makeup real quick. I suggest that you find your top 3 fastest looks that you love the most and master it. So in this way, you know, like if you're ever in a rush, you just go to default 1, default 2, default 3. Yeah. Okay, so I am doing more so like a V kind of shape, and then into my crease. Well, I'm gonna create a crease, so kind of like the whole canvas right here. You want to make sure that that's gonna be really defined, and then take this and drag it out. Drag it, pun intended. Okay, now I'm gonna do it to the other eye. Now the one thing I always keep in mind is that I want to stay focused right here in the corner, because that's where it kind of tends to go up, and then this kind of drags out this way. So the products that I'm going to use are going to be focused right in that little V area, or Y, depending how what you say it is. Oh, she's sultry already. Oh my god. I'm ready for my drag brunch. You know, I always envy. I know, envy is such a strong word. The girls who could get ready in like 15 minutes. But now, I'm still not that girl. But you know why? Because I like to take my time, and I'm a perfectionist, so. Tis the life. Lovely. Okay. So we're already kind of seeing that like sultry, smoky look. I just look like, you know, I'm a brown raccoon or something. I don't know. All right, next up, we're gonna go with that second layer. I'm using the MAC Studio Fix powder in NW48. This is my contour powder. This is pretty dark for my skin tone. See that? But it's so yummy. It's like ganache, you know, like a little bit of chocolate, cocoa, mocha. That's my flavor right now. I'm loving some chocolate. Really, I really like chocolate. Which is funny, I never used to be too much of a sweet person. Sweet tooth. I've always been a sweet person, just not quite a sweet tooth person. Okay. And again, I am focusing in this area. Do you see that coming together already? So don't be afraid. I am just literally tapping. Tap, tap, tapping. And I'm putting this product right here. Now, there are times where I use too much, so I kind of like have to tap it back into here. You'll see a lot of makeup artists do that because getting on a specific amount of powder on here is gonna work the best for them. So however they choose to get in there, that's their thing. And once I tap that powder in, I'm also dragging it down into the eyelid and then back up again. I'm going to blend this area right here. Yeah, just lightly. So now the pressure of my brush is a lot more lighter. I just want it to marry with the last one I did. And also do like a circular motion. I like to look at it as I'm going a really long oval shape. So I'll be going like this. Yeah, that works for me. You definitely want to get a feel of how you are comfortable with blending. So get that practice in and you will become faster. So we're already getting there. I am loving this. Okay, I'm gonna do the other eye off camera. I did the other side and I added an extra step. I'm gonna take this brush. This is by MAC. It's one of these soft pointy brushes. And I'm gonna carve, or I'm gonna start focusing another windshield wiper motion into where I feel is my bone. So it's gonna carve this nice shape right here, and we're gonna clean up the eyelid for the dramatic effect. This part, you're okay to apply a little bit heavier pressure because we want to make sure we're dragging that out. So it's like you're already contouring your bone. You see how that changed this middle part right here? It's like magic. I don't know what to tell you. Now we're gonna go in with black. I'm gonna go in with carbon. I wasn't able to get the individual pots, so they gave me the insert and I just bought this cute little 2-piece pot thing. I'm going in with the same type of brush, just a second one. I always have multiple because I tend to like certain ones for specific blending and they just work. So that's another tip for you, is to get multiple of your favorite brushes, because why not? Now I'm gonna go in with the black and I'm gonna put it right in that corner. Again, this is the third step into creating that nice sultry look we're going for. We're gonna start very, very slow because I could easily mess this up and I don't want to. So I'm gonna go ahead and just mark the other side so I remember what to follow afterwards. Again, we're gonna work with this and we're gonna do the same motion. We're gonna create that V, do a little bit of dragging out. So my tip for this part is to do very, very little. Tap that brush as much as you need to and just slowly move that black out, smoke it out. Again, as you move away from the eye, lighter strokes and lighter blending motion. Okay, so I did both eyes. I smoked it out quite a bit and focused the black right in that same area again, and just for the last touch, so you can see where it starts to just spread out really nicely. And now the next step is I'm gonna clean out the lid part. So I'm gonna create that little crease. And what I'm gonna go in with is another MAC brush. This one I can read, it says MAC 228. So now I am going in, and you can use whatever shade. Sometimes if it's a day look, I'll go in with my concealer to clean it out, but right now I want dramatic. So I'm going in with the MAC Full Coverage Foundation in white. And I'm gonna kind of dot it out. This is how I wanna make sure it's the same on both eyes. So I'm gonna do the other eye. You can always make sure. So I start out with 3 and then I kinda tap a little bit more and I go in between. You see that? Magic. Now I am just doing a windshield wiper motion. I lightly just brush it out, creating a little tail. You see that? I'm gonna do it on the other side as well. Connect the dots and then brush out that little tail into the makeup. Now once I get the makeup all aligned, I start to bring in that white into the lid itself. So I'm brushing it inward. You can see I am just creating that canvas using the same amount of makeup I just applied it on. So you can use, you can go over it again one more time if you really want it to be super white. The lid is bright enough for me, to my liking, so we're gonna go with that. Next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set my lid. So I really tried hard not to look up for this part. I am gonna take a MAC, what number is this? A MAC brush 239. I really like this for white powders, and it has just the amount of space that I need to pick up the product. Now this is the MAC Studio Fix powder, again in white. I'll show you how it looks like. There you go. I'm just gonna take a little bit of the product, do a little tappy tap. So where I press first is where I apply that white, and then I tap downwards onto my lid. So I want to make sure I get that product right underneath that nice line. And then I tap the rest of that product into my lid. There you go. Okay, next is the fun part. I really like refining my makeup after I've done this process. It just brings joy to my heart because, again, I am a perfectionist, so I get to kind of clean up my lines, but I'm gonna clean up my lines using more makeup. With the black, that carbon eyeshadow, and I'm gonna tap along the line. Let me just do it for you guys. I'm gonna just tap starting inward, and I'm gonna go over it a couple times up to the last part. Now, did you see how like it cuts that makeup already? So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna repeat it on the other side and make sure it's even. And then I'm gonna start to sort of drag it into the shadow, just very lightly, not to like create another line in there, but just to kind of marry it again. Again, we're playing with light and dark shades here. And now I'm gonna blend it out. I'm gonna take that same brush, the black one, and I'm gonna diffuse the top of that shadow. This is gonna help me blend it in. So now I have created a darker crease using the same shades, the 3 shades that I've been using now plus the white. And we are just creating more of that contour, that definition, that defined eyelid area. The look for the eyelid makeup, just for now, I will add some glitter later on towards the end. That's gonna be the fun part. It's gonna just add that extra pop of the color, the lid, the look.